In the process of testing of hypothesis, when we are dealing with a situation where we have two variables, which are continuous variables, that are generating from two independent processes, for a continuous variable, the appropriate measure that we generally use to compare is average. So in this module, we will talk about the testing of hypothesis, where we got to test for the difference of means in two independent samples. In this module, we will perform the two sample independent test on SPSS. For this, let's take an example where we're looking at the data where the objective of the study by Becker et al. Was to determine whether medical deformation alters in vitro effect of plasma from patients with preeclampsia on endothelial cell function to produce a paradigm similar to the in vivo disease state. Subjects were 24 pregnant women before delivery, of whom 12 had preeclampsia and 12 were normal pregnant patients. So among the data collected were the following gestational ages, that is measured in weeks at delivery. So we have this data where we have two groups. One group is of the women who have preeclampsia, and another group is of women who have the normal pregnancy. We want to make comparison if there is any difference in their gestational weeks at the time of delivery. To perform this test, we need to first test for the assumptions. The very first assumption that need to be tested is to check whether the measurements xi and yi, where xi comes from the first sample and yi comes from the second sample, are independent. The second important assumption that we've got to check is that whether the measurements in each population are normally distributed or not. And thirdly, we got to check whether the measurements in each population have the known variance. And if known, then whether they have equal variances or not. We will perform the rest of the analysis using SPSS. Here, we have two groups we want to make comparison between. The very first assumption that we want to test is whether these two samples are independent or not. We are very, very well aware from the statement where it clearly explains that there is one group of women with preeclampsia and another group of women who are having normal pregnancy. So it's very evident right there that these two groups are independent of each other. The second important assumption that we got to check is of normality. But before we carry out a test for normality, it's very important to learn that how to enter the data into SPSS when we are supposed to perform two independent samples test. So right here, we understand we have two independent samples. For this, the age, that is our data in hand, our measurement, will be entered in one variable, and the second variable will explain the study group. So here, our response variable, our measured variable is age, which is gestational age measured in weeks. It's a quantitative variable, whereas the other variable is group, which refers to the study group. We have coded it. If we code it to 1, it means that the patient has preeclampsia. And if we code it 2, it means that a person is having a normal pregnancy. So it's just an indicator, hence it will be treated as a nominal measure. So bringing this information, we only enter the data for both the variables, both the groups, in variable age. Whereas the group variable will be just having an indicator 1 and 2, where 1 means preeclampsia and 2 means normal pregnant. So when we are performing two groups independent sample test, this is how we enter our data. Once the data has been entered, the very first assumption that we want to test is that of normality. And our null hypothesis for test for normality states that our data comes from a population that follows the normal probability distribution, against the alternative hypothesis that our data comes from a population that does not follow the normal probability distribution. To test this hypothesis for normality, we can go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and Explore. And in Explore, our dependent variable is our study variable, that is gestational age in weeks, and our factor will be our study group. And we want to see what's the distribution, whether the distribution of a study group who has preeclampsia having a normal probability distribution for their population or not, and likewise for the second group too. That's why in the factor list, we are bringing a grouping variable. Since our goal here is to test for normality, so we'll simply go click on the plots and normality plots with test. Pressing OK, it's going to give us a very elaborated output, but as we have already discussed, that we can use various measures, descriptive as well as inferential methods, to figure out that whether the distribution of the population is normal or not. Right here, in this module, we may not be using all the descriptive measures to make decision whether the distributions are normal or not. We will directly go on to the test for normality, which is an inferential measure. Here, since our null hypothesis is that of normality against the alternative that it's not normal, using the whole process, we look at the significance value. And here, the significance value, which is the p-value here, for preeclampsia group is 0.209, and for normal pregnant is 0.056. Keeping in mind, for all the testing of hypothesis process we are going to do here, we are keeping our level of significance alpha to be equals to 0.05. That is 5%. So here, as our decision rule states that we reject our null hypothesis if the p-value is less than or equals to alpha. In both the cases, the p-value is 0.209 and 0.056, which is larger than 0.05. Since here the p-values are larger than 0.05, we can conclude that we may not reject H0. So given the situation, since we are unable to reject null hypothesis, we believe that null hypothesis is true. And our null hypothesis states that the data comes from a population that follows a normal probability distribution. So firstly, over here, our first hypothesis is tested, and our assumption is fulfilled that both the samples are coming from the populations that follows a normal probability distribution. Hence, by doing this, our second assumption to perform two-group independent samples test is verified. Once we're done with that, there is a third assumption, whether the variances are known or not. In this case, we have the raw data that comes from the sample and no information about the population variances. Hence, we will say that, well, the population variances are not known. And if population variances are not known, then the second step is that we got to test whether these population variances are equal or not. And for this, we may perform two-group comparison for the equality of variances, that whether the two variances are equal or not. And for this, we use Levene's test. But there is no separate module to perform Levene's test. Hence, we'll directly perform the test for the two samples, two groups. And more importantly, since our second assumption of normality is true, hence, we will use a parametric test. And the parametric test to compare two groups and the averages of two groups is a two samples t-test. So here we will use two sample t-test to make the comparison, and to perform two sample t-test, we need to go to analyze compare means and independent samples t-test. Since we have already shown that these two groups are independent and both the groups comes from the populations that have the normal probability distributions, hence we will perform independent samples t-test. To perform independent sample t-test, our variable named age will be treated as our test variable because we are making the comparison of age, gestational age, in the two groups. The first group is preeclampsia and the other group is the normal pregnant women. Since our test variable is age, our study group goes into the grouping variable. In the grouping variable, we've given a code 1 for the group 1, and we've given code 2 for the group 2. Once we have entered this information, that will help identify that what code we are using for group 1 and what code we are using for group 2. We press continue. If you click on options, here is confidence interval percentage. Since I said earlier that for this testing of hypothesis process, we are assuming that our level of significance is 5%, hence our confidence interval percentage will be 95%. But if our level of significance is some other value, let's say 1%, then our confidence interval percentage will be 99%. And over here, we'll update this value from 95 to 99. This will help us to perform the whole analysis according to the newer level of significance. So once we have defined the level of significance, we have defined our test variable, that is age, in both the groups, and then our grouping variable, where 1 and 2 represents the group 1 and group 2, we press OK. The analysis will be performed. It will perform two independent samples t-test. Since we already know that two independent sample t-tests are of two types, where in the one, we assume that the variances are equal, the population variances are equal, and in another one, we test that if population variances are not equal. And for both the tests, there is a different test statistics. But to decide that whether we need to use equal variances assumed or equal variances not assumed, we firstly have to perform Levene's test for the equality of variances. And here, our null hypothesis will be that the variance from the group 1 equals the variance of group 2. That means that sigma 1 square equals to sigma 2 square, against the alternative hypothesis that the variance in the group 1 is not equals to the variance in group 2, that can be written as sigma 1 square is not equals to sigma 2 square as an alternative hypothesis. Keeping the usual 5% level of significance, the test performed will be Levene's test for equality of variances. Hence, our test statistics will be F test statistics, and our calculation says that F value is 33.224. Our decision rule, as usual, says that we reject the null hypothesis if the p-value is less than or equals to alpha, that is 0.05. In this case, the p-value for Levene's test for equality of variances is 0.000 or less. Hence, we can conclude that since the p-value is less than 0.05, we may reject H0. And we conclude that the two variances are not equal. Since we have rejected this null hypothesis for the equality of variances, we will use equal variances not assumed case. And to perform two groups independent sample t-test for equal variances not assumed, we will look at the values generated by the second line here in the output. Since it's a t-test, our t-value is minus 4.178 with degrees of freedom 11.919, and the p-value for this is 0.001 with mean difference minus 5.417, and standard error of the difference and the confidence interval for the difference is given right there. So here, since our null hypothesis states that the average age for pre-eclampsia is equals to the average gestational age for the normal pregnant women, against the alternative hypothesis that the average gestational age for the pre-eclampsia women is not equals to average gestational age for normal pregnant women. It's a two-tailed test, so we will use the significance two-tailed. Our level of significance is usual 5%. Our test statistics will be 2 independent samples t-test with equal variances not assumed. Hence, the value for the t is minus 4.178. Our decision rule states that we reject H0 if p-value is less than equals to alpha, which is 0.05. We can notice that the p-value for 2 groups independent sample t-test equal variances not assumed is 0.001. Since this value is less than 0.05, hence we may reject the null hypothesis for the equality of the gestational age, average gestational age of preeclampsia women in comparison with the average gestational age for normal pregnant women. So we conclude that the average gestational age in the weeks for these 2 groups is not equal. Since we say that this is not equal, one thing is very important to be curious about. It's that if it's not equal, then which is larger and which is lesser? We can see it in the table for the group statistics, where the mean gestational age for the preeclampsia women is 34.50 against the mean gestational age in the weeks for normal pregnant women. Since we've already concluded from 2 groups independent sample t-test, equal variance is not assumed, that the 2 means are not equal, we can clearly see that the mean gestational age in weeks for the normal pregnant women is higher than the mean gestational age in the weeks for preeclampsia women. Hence, we can conclude that there is a significant increase. Hence, we can conclude that the average gestational age in the weeks for preeclampsia women is significantly lesser than the average gestational age in weeks for the normal pregnant women. We can further test, perform the same test if the equal variances are not assumed. The process for carrying out this test is exactly the same, but it's important that which statistics we use. If we are assuming equal variances is not assumed, like in the case we just performed the test, we will use the second line. But if our null hypothesis for the equality of variances is not rejected, then we will be assuming that the variances are equal. And for equal variances assumed, we will use the t-test for equality of means, the first row in this table.